The Drawing Desk at Night Disney Sleep Story. Arriving at the desk. Welcome. The room is quiet now. A single drawing desk sits in the gentle glow of a warm lamp, its light pooling soft and amber across a neat stack of animation paper. The light box beneath the paper holds a faint luminescence, patient and still, waiting for nothing at all. You settle into this space as though you have always known it. The chair accepts you. The desk is simply there, unhurried, unchanged. A sharpened pencil rests beside the paper, and next to it, a calm cup of water catches the smallest gleam from the lamp. Everything here has found its place for the night. Let your breath arrive at its own pace. There is nowhere else you need to be. The building around you has grown still, and somewhere in the walls, a faint ventilation hum offers its steady, distant song. It asks nothing of you. It simply continues, the way a heartbeat continues, the way night continues. Notice, if you like, the temperature of the air. It is comfortable here, not too warm, not too cool. The kind of temperature that lets the body forget about temperature altogether. Your skin rests easy. Your clothes settle against you without urgency. And so you breathe in through the nose, slow and unhurried, a pause at the top, soft as the space between thoughts, then out through the mouth or the nose, whichever feels most like release. The breath leaves you, and you do not chase it. Another will come. Another always comes. The lamp on the desk gives off the faintest warmth. You can sense it if you let yourself a gentle presence, like sunlight remembered from an afternoon long past. The paper on the desk catches this warmth and holds it, patient as only paper can be. Thousands of blank pages have rested here, and thousands more will rest here still. But tonight, this stack, this single, quiet stack, that is all there is. Let your jaw soften now. You may not have noticed it was holding, but jaws often hold without being asked. Let the teeth part just slightly. Let the tongue settle low and heavy in the mouth, resting against the bottom teeth or floating free, whichever way it wants to go. The jaw does not need to do anything right now. It has worked hard today. Perhaps it has spoken, or chewed, or held itself in thought. Now it can simply be a jaw at rest, warm and loose and easy. Feel how the softening of the jaw travels upward. Muscles around the mouth ease. The cheeks grow slack. Even the space behind the eyes seems to widen, as though someone has opened a small window there and let the night air in. The forehead smooths. Any furrow that lived there today can dissolve now, like morning mist above a quiet lake. There is nothing here that requires your vigilance, nothing here that needs you to think. The pencil on the desk has been sharpened to a fine point. Someone took care with it earlier, turning it slowly in a small sharpener, listening to the soft whisper of wood and graphite, finding their new edge. That sound is gone now, but the evidence remains. A perfect point, patient, and still. If you breathe in slowly, you might catch the faintest mineral scent of graphite in the air. It is a clean smell, almost like stone, almost like rain on pavement. It does not demand your attention. It simply exists the way all quiet things exist when no one is asking them to perform. Your shoulders have been carrying something today, perhaps many things. Let them lower now, just a fraction of an inch. Feel how the muscles at the tops of the shoulders can soften, can release their upward pull. The shoulder blades settle back and down, finding the support beneath them. You do not need to hold yourself upright now. The chair is holding you. The night is holding you. The quiet hum of the building is holding you in its vast and gentle indifference. It is perfectly all right if your mind wanders as you listen. These words are not a test. There is nothing you need to remember, nothing you will be asked to recall. If a thought floats through, a flicker from the day, a whisper of tomorrow, let it pass like a cloud crossing the face of the moon. The moon does not chase the cloud. The moon simply continues its slow, silver breathing, and the cloud moves on. The animation paper on the desk has a particular weight to it, heavier than ordinary paper, but not by much. Just enough to feel substantial beneath the hand, just enough to lie flat without curling, to accept the pencil's touch without complaint. Each sheet has been punched with small registration holes along one edge, perfectly aligned, so that when many sheets are stacked together on the pegs of the light box, they can be flipped through in sequence. But that is for another time. Perhaps right now, the paper simply rests, a neat white rectangle, catching the lamp's amber glow. This story you are hearing is a gentle imagining, a fan-made bedtime tale about the quiet world of animation. Disney, the studio whose name drifts through these words like a half-remembered lullaby, is a company with its own history, its own trademarks, its own continuing story. This telling is not official, not endorsed, simply offered in the spirit of peaceful admiration for a craft that has brought quiet wonder to many. Take it as you would take a warm cup of tea from a friend, without expectation, without obligation, only as a small gift meant to help the night pass gently. And now, let the hands soften. Your hands have done so much today. They have reached and held, and typed and gestured. They have opened doors and closed them. They have carried things, set things down, perhaps touched the faces of people you love. Let them rest now. Wherever they have come to rest, feel the fingers uncurl, just slightly. The palms grow heavy. There is a warmth that can gather in the center of each palm when you let it, a pooling of ease. A small sun that asks nothing and gives everything. The cup of water on the desk has been sitting long enough that a faint condensation has gathered on its surface. Tiny droplets, catching the light, patient as dew on morning grass. The water inside is still. It does not ripple. It does not need to be drunk right now. It is simply there, a companion to the pencil, to the paper, to the long and quiet night. Feel your breath settling into its own rhythm now. You do not need to control it. The body knows how to breathe itself, has been doing so since the very first moment, will continue long after you stop paying attention. In and out, rise and fall. The chest expands and softens, expands and softens, like a tide moving in a harbor where the boats have all been tied for the night. There is nothing more to do right now, nothing more to think about. Only this room, this desk, this gentle amber light, only the breath moving in and out, only the body finding its way toward rest, one soft release at a time. The corners of the paper are aligned now. The light box hums its faint electrical song beneath the surface. And somewhere in the quiet spaces of this night, the simple craft of drawing waits, patient as it has always been, asking nothing but time and stillness and the slow turning of hours into morning. But morning is very far away, and here there is only now. The tools at rest. The room remains as it was. The warm lamp spills its amber light across the drawing desk, and the light box beneath the stack of animation paper holds its soft, steady glow. The pencil rests where it was placed, and the cup of water catches the faintest gleam, unmoved and unhurried. You are still here, in this quiet space. The building around you has settled deeper into its nighttime breathing. The ventilation hum a constant companion now, so familiar it has almost become silence. The high window lets in its thread of moonlight, and the two sources of illumination, amber and silver, continue their peaceful coexistence across the desk's surface. A hand reaches forward, slowly, to touch the stack of animation paper. The fingers spread across the top sheet, feeling its weight, its texture. This paper has a particular quality beneath the fingertips, smooth, but with the faintest tooth, the smallest resistance that lets graphite grip and hold. The hand rests there for a moment, simply feeling. There is no hurry. There is never any hurry in a room like this. After the hours have wound down, and the building has emptied, and the night has claimed everything for its own, the pencil is lifted now, turned slowly in the fingers. It is a simple wooden pencil, the kind that has been made the same way for longer than anyone can remember. The yellow paint is slightly worn near the sharpened end, where countless hours of holding have smoothed it down. The weight of it is modest but real, enough to feel present in the hand, enough to remind the fingers that they are holding something, that they have a purpose here, even if that purpose asks nothing more than stillness. Let your own hand soften as you imagine this. The fingers can uncurl just slightly The thumbs can rest. There is a warmth that gathers when hands are allowed to simply be a gentle heat in the center of each palm, loosening in the joints. Hands carry so much tension without being asked. They grip the day and hold it. Now they can release. Now they can grow heavy and easy, like hands that have finally found a place to rest. A hand brushes across the surface of the desk, feeling for eraser crumbs that might have gathered there from some earlier hour. The fingertips find a few small, soft, rolled into tiny shapes by the friction of erasing. They are swept gently to the side. Off the edge of the desk, gone, the surface is clean now. Smooth wood beneath the palm, slightly cool, slightly worn. This desk has known many hands. It has held countless drawings, countless mistakes, countless small corrections made in the quiet concentration of work. Now it holds only this: a stack of paper, a pencil, a cup of water, and the patient glow of the light box. The sharpener sits in a small dish near the corner of the desk, a simple handheld sharpener. Metal blade housed in a small body of red plastic, worn at the edges from years of use. The pencil does not need sharpening yet. The point is still fine, still ready, but the sharpener is there, waiting, in case the graphite wears down, in case the line becomes too soft, in case the need arises. It does not arise now. The sharpener simply rests in its dish, and the pencil holds its point, and the room holds its silence. If your jaw has tightened again, let it soften. Jaws are stubborn things. They clench without permission, hold without being asked. Let the teeth part. Let the tongue settle low and heavy, resting against nothing, floating free. The muscles along the sides of the jaw can release, can unknot, can remember that there is nothing here that needs to be chewed or bitten or held in place. The jaw can simply be warm and loose, easy and still. The cup of water has developed more condensation now. The droplets have begun to join together, forming small streams that travel down the outside of the glass in slow, unhurried paths. The water inside remains perfectly still, a small mirror reflecting the lamp's glow, holding its own tiny amber sun. No one will drink from it tonight. It is simply a companion to the other tools, a presence on the desk, cool and quiet and content. A breath moves through the room, not a draft. Exactly, but a gentle shift in the air, a small movement that ruffles nothing, disturbs nothing, simply passes through like a thought without attachment. The papers do not stir, the lamp does not flicker, the breath moves and is gone, and the stillness resumes, deeper than before. The hand lifts the pencil again and turns it slowly, examining the grain of the wood, the tiny letters stamped near the eraser end. The eraser itself is pink and mostly unused, flat at the top, waiting for mistakes that may never come. The pencil is turned once more, then set back down in its place beside the paper. It rolls slightly, half a centimeter, perhaps less, and then finds its rest, the flat sides of its hexagonal body catching against the wood of the desk, holding it still. There is nothing you need to remember from this, nothing you will be asked to recall. These details are not a test. They are simply the furniture of a quiet hour, the small objects that fill a space where someone once worked and no one works now. If your mind wanders away from them, that is perfectly fine. Let it wander. Let it drift. The room will still be here when it returns. The lamp will still be glowing. The paper will still be stacked, neat and white and patient. The light box is switched off and on again. A small gesture. A simple check. The glow vanishes for half a second, and the papers above it go dark, ordinary. Then the light returns, soft and diffuse, illuminating the stack from below, making the top sheet glow faintly, almost translucent at the edges. The light box is working. It will continue to work through the night, whether anyone is watching or not. Your face has softened, perhaps without your noticing. The muscles around the eyes have eased. The forehead has smoothed. Even the small muscles around the nose and mouth have released their subtle holdings, their tiny tensions. This is the face at rest, not asleep, not quite, but no longer working, no longer performing, simply present, simply soft, simply here. The hand reaches toward the lamp, not to adjust it, but simply to feel the warmth radiating from its surface. The bulb is not hot. This is a gentle lamp, designed for long hours of quiet work, but there is warmth there. A soft heat that can be felt from a few inches away. The hand hovers, absorbing this warmth, letting it spread through the palm and into the fingers. Then the hand withdraws, and the warmth fades, and the hand returns to its resting place, carrying the memory of heat in its skin. The stack of paper is straightened again. This is a small ritual, micro movement that means nothing and everything. The fingers tap the edges of the stack against the desk. First, the bottom edge, then the side, then the bottom again. A soft sound, like whispered applause. The stack aligns, becomes more orderly, more precise. Then the hands release it, and the paper sits as it sat before, only slightly more perfect now, slightly more at peace with its own geometry. The ventilation hum shifts pitch, a barely perceptible change. A small variation in the endless song of the building's breath. The shift lasts only a moment, then resolves back to its familiar tone. These are the sounds of a space that is alive in its own way. Even when empty, the building breathes. The ducts carry air. The hum continues, asking nothing, offering nothing but constancy. Let warmth gather in your hands now. Feel how the palms can grow heavy, how the fingers can soften and curl. There is a pleasant weight that comes when the hands are truly at rest, a heaviness that is not fatigue but surrender. The hands have done their work. They have carried and held and reached and released. Now they can simply exist, warm and still, asking nothing of the night. The moonlight through the high window has shifted slightly. The moon moves so slowly that the change is almost imperceptible. But the angle of the silver light is different now, falling on a slightly different portion of the desk. The amber glow of the lamp does not notice, does not care. The two lights continue their quiet meeting, their peaceful overlap, their agreement to share the space without competition. The pencil rests, the paper waits, the cup of water holds its stillness, and the room, in its deep and unhurried way, continues to breathe around you, with you, for you. There is nothing more to do here, nothing more to arrange or adjust or check. The desk has found its order, the tools have found their places, and the night, stretching out in all directions, holds this small pool of lamplight like a cupped hand holds water gently, carefully, with no intention of letting go. The hours will pass. They always do, but they pass slowly here, in a room where no one is counting them, where no clock ticks loud enough to hear, and in that slowness, there is something like rest, something like peace, something like the space between one breath and the next, stretched out until it becomes everything. The light box glows, the paper waits, and somewhere in the building, in the walls, in the very bones of the structure, there is a stillness that has been gathering for hours, a quietude that will hold until morning comes. Morning is still very far away. Simple drawings, patient hands. The desk is unchanged. The lamp still pools its amber warmth across the stack of animation paper, and the light box beneath holds its patient glow. The pencil rests where it was placed, and the cup of water, its condensation now tracing slow paths down the glass, catches the faintest gleam of light. You are still here, in this quiet room. The ventilation continues its distant hum, and the moonlight through the high window has shifted only slightly, a silver thread now touching the far edge of the desk. Everything is as it was. Everything is as it should be. A hand lifts the top sheet of animation paper, holding it gently by the corner, letting the light from below pass through. The paper is thin enough to glow when held this way, not transparent, but translucent, soft with captured light. The sheet is lowered again, returned to its place on the stack, and the fingers smooth it flat with a slow, careful motion. There is no hurry. There never has been in rooms like this. Long before studios existed, long before the craft had a name anyone agreed upon, there were simple drawings. People made marks on surfaces and wondered what it might be like to see those marks move. This wondering was not urgent. It was the kind of quiet curiosity that arrives in the late hours, when the day's demands have faded and the mind drifts toward things that serve no practical purpose. Someone, somewhere, drew a figure in one position, then drew it again in another, and then, perhaps, again. The pencil is lifted now, turned slowly in the fingers. The graphite point catches the lamplight, a small, dark gleam. The pencil is set back down, and the hand rests, and the room holds its stillness like a breath held gently, without strain. The earliest attempts at creating the illusion of movement were patient things, a series of drawings, each slightly different from the one before. A leg lifted a fraction higher, an arm extended a centimeter more. The changes were small, almost imperceptible when viewing any single drawing, but when the pages were gathered and flipped quickly, one after another, something happened. The eye could not hold the separate images apart. They merged, blended, became motion. Feel your chest now, if you like. Notice how it rises and falls without your asking. The breath moves in, and the ribs expand, and the chest lifts gently, like a boat rising on a slow swell. Then the breath moves out, and the chest softens, settles, returns. This rhythm has been with you always. It continues now, steady and unhurried, asking nothing of your attention. You can simply notice it, or not. Either way, the breath continues. The hand reaches for the stack of paper and lifts several sheets together. Holding them by one edge, the fingers find the corner and begin to flip, slowly. So slowly that the motion is almost imperceptible. One sheet falls, then another, then another. There is no drawing on these pages, nothing to animate, but the motion of the flip itself is soothing. A small cascade of white rectangles, each one catching the light for an instant before giving way to the next. The sound is soft, whisper of paper against paper, like leaves turning in a book no one is reading. Those early experimenters with sequential drawings understood something simple. The eye wants to see motion. Given the slightest suggestion, the slightest series of related images, the mind will fill in the gaps, will create the flow, will believe that what is actually still is somehow moving. This is not a trick. It is simply how seeing works, how the mind works, how the world reveals itself to patient observers. The paper settles back into its stack. The fingers tap the edges gently, aligning the sheets, restoring the neat geometry that was briefly disturbed. The lamp continues its warm glow. The cup of water holds its stillness. And somewhere in the walls, the ventilation hum shifts, pitch for a moment, finds a slightly lower note, then returns to its familiar tone. Before there were studios with desks and light boxes, before there were teams of people working together on single projects, there were individuals sitting alone with paper and pencil, doing exactly what is being done at this desk tonight, drawing a shape, then drawing it again, slightly changed. Then again, the repetition was meditative, perhaps even restless at first, but it became its own kind of peace. Each drawing was a small step, and the steps accumulated, and something that did not exist before, something that moved, that seemed alive, came into being. Let your shoulders release a little more. They have been good shoulders today, holding everything that needed to be held. Now they can lower, now they can soften. Feel how the weight of the arms can hang from them without effort. How the muscles can unknot and ease. There is a warmth that can gather across the upper back when tension releases, a pleasant spreading heat. Like sunlight finally reaching a shaded place. The light box glows steadily beneath the paper. Its light is designed for this exact purpose, to let one drawing show through another, so that the artist can see what came before while creating what comes next. This layering is the heart of the craft. Each new drawing is informed by the one beneath it, guided by it, connected to it. Nothing exists in isolation. Every mark is part of a sequence, a chain of small changes that lead, eventually, to the illusion of life. In the early days of organized animation work, the routines were simple. Artists would arrive, sharpen their pencils, stack their paper, and begin. The work was repetitive in the way that all careful craft is repetitive, not boring, but rhythmic. Draw, flip, check. Draw, flip, check. The same motions, again and again, with small variations that accumulated into something larger than any single drawing could be. The pencil on the desk has rolled slightly again, perhaps from a vibration in the floor, perhaps from the building settling into its nighttime posture. The movement is tiny, almost invisible. A quarter turn, no more. The pencil finds a new resting place and grows still, its point facing slightly away from where it faced before. No one will notice this change. No one needs to. The pencil simply rests in its new position, as content as it was in its old one. Feel your breath deepening now. If it wants to, the chest can expand a little more fully. The ribs can spread a little wider. There is no need to force this. The body knows how to breathe itself, has always known, will always know, but sometimes, in moments of quiet, the breath wants to grow deeper, wants to fill more of the space it's been given. Let it, if it does. Let the inhale be full and unhurried. Let the exhale be complete, a slow release that empties without effort. The craft of animation in those early years was learned by doing. There were no textbooks to speak of, no formal schools. Someone who wanted to learn would sit beside someone who already knew, watching the pencil move, watching the fingers flip, watching the small decisions that added up to motion. The knowledge passed from hand to hand, desk to desk, like a flame being shared from one candle to another. And in this way, the craft grew. The cup of water has been sitting long enough now that a small ring of moisture has formed on the desk beneath it. The condensation has found its way down the glass and pooled there. A tiny lake, no larger than a coin. It reflects the lamp's glow in miniature. A small amber sun on the dark wood surface. Later, perhaps, someone will wipe this away with a cloth. Or perhaps it will evaporate on its own, leaving only a faint mark that will itself fade with time. For now, it simply is. The hand reaches out and traces a shape on the top sheet of paper, not drawing exactly, but suggesting. The fingertip moves in a slow arc, a curve that could be a head turning, a shoulder lifting, an arm reaching forward. No graphite marks the page. The gesture is invisible, felt only in the motion of the finger through air and the slight pressure against paper. Then the hand lifts, and the shape is gone, and the paper holds only its own blankness, patient and ready. Those who worked in the earliest studios developed their own small rituals, a particular way of holding the pencil, a preferred angle for the light box, a habit of straightening the paper stack before beginning, or after finishing, or both. These rituals were not superstition. They were the body's way of entering the work, of signaling to itself that now was the time for focus, for patience, for the slow accumulation of small marks that would become, eventually, motion. The ventilation hum has grown so familiar now that it no longer registers as sound. It has become part of the silence, part of the room's texture, like the warmth of the lamp, or the weight of the paper, or the faint mineral scent of graphite that still lingers in the air. These things do not demand attention. They simply create the atmosphere in which attention can rest. Your chest continues its gentle rhythm, rise and fall, expansion and release. The breath moves in, and the body receives it. The breath moves out, and the body lets it go. This exchange has been happening since the very first moment of your life. And it will continue happening for as long as you are here. There is nothing more natural, nothing more effortless than this simple rhythm that sustains you without asking for anything in return. The lamp glows. The light box waits. The stack of paper holds its patient geometry, and the pencil rests in its place, ready for nothing, content with everything. Outside, the night continues in its vast and unhurried way. The moon has moved. Perhaps, though the change is too small to notice, the stars, if they are visible beyond the high window, have shifted in their slow wheel across the sky. But here, in this room, there is only stillness, only the desk, only the quiet tools of a quiet craft resting in the gentle light. And somewhere, in the space between one breath and the next, there is a kind of peace that asks nothing and offers everything. Small marks, slow progress. The room holds its stillness. The lamp continues its amber glow across the drawing desk, and the light box beneath the paper waits with its soft, patient light. The pencil rests beside the neat stack of animation paper, and the cup of water, now slightly warmer than before, catches the faintest reflection of the lamp's warmth. You are still here, in this quiet place. The ventilation hum has become so familiar, it is almost like breath, the building's breath. Steady and undemanding, the moonlight through the high window has shifted another small degree, its silver thread now touching the edge of the paper stack. Everything continues as it was. A hand lifts the pencil and holds it loosely, the fingers finding their familiar grip. The point touches the paper, and a line emerges rough, light, exploratory. This is not a finished drawing. It is a first thought, a suggestion, a shape that might become something, or might be erased and replaced with another shape entirely. The pressure is gentle, the graphite barely whispering against the paper surface. The line curves, hesitates, curves again. In the earliest workflows of animation, this kind of rough sketch was where everything began. The artist would sit at the desk, pencil in hand, and simply start. No expectation of perfection, no demand for completion, just a line, and then another line, and then another. The rough sketches were loose, almost careless in their freedom. They captured the essence of a movement without worrying about details. A circle for a head, a curved line for a spine, suggestions of limbs, of hands, of the way a body might shift from one position to another. The pencil lifts from the paper, and the hand pauses. The line that has been drawn is looked at, considered, neither praised nor criticized. It is simply there, a mark on the page, a beginning. The hand sets the pencil down and reaches for the stack of paper, lifting several sheets by one corner, flipping them slowly, watching how the blank pages catch and release the light. Let your belly soften now, if you like. The muscles of the abdomen often hold without being asked, a tightness that serves no purpose but has become habit. Let them release. Feel how the breath can move more freely when the belly is soft, when the diaphragm has room to descend, when the body is not bracing against anything. The inhale deepens naturally. The exhale lengthens without effort. rise and fall, expansion and release. After the rough sketches came cleanup, a second pass. More careful than the first, the artist would place a fresh sheet of paper over the rough drawing, and the light box would illuminate both layers, letting the rough sketch show through as a guide. Then, with a steadier hand and a sharper point, the cleanup lines would be drawn smoother, more precise. The essence captured in the rough would be refined, clarified, made ready for whatever came next. The hand reaches for the pencil sharpener in its small dish near the corner of the desk. The pencil does not truly need sharpening. The point is still adequate. But there is something satisfying in the gesture, a small ritual of preparation. The pencil is inserted into the sharpener, and the hand turns it slowly. 3 rotations, 4. The sound is soft, a quiet whisper of wood and graphite being shaped. A small curl of shaving emerges, pale yellow with a dark center, and falls into the dish. The pencil is withdrawn and examined. The point is slightly sharper now, slightly more precise. The pencil is set back in its place. The tiny wins of early animation work were not celebrated with fanfare. They were quiet satisfactions, noticed only by the person who had achieved them. A sequence that flipped more smoothly than the last attempt. A character whose movement felt more natural, more alive. A timing that finally clicked into place after several failed experiments. These wins accumulated slowly, building skill and confidence in increments so small they were almost invisible. Feel your back now, the long column of the spine, the muscles that run alongside it. Let them soften against whatever surface supports you. There is a warmth that can spread through the back when tension releases, a pleasant loosening. Like a fist uncurling, like a held breath, finally let go. The spine does not need to be rigid right now. It can curve and settle, can find its natural shape without effort. The back can simply rest. The hand lifts a small stack of pages, perhaps 8 or 10 sheets, and holds them by one edge. The thumb begins to flip, slowly at first. Then, finding a rhythm, the pages fall in sequence, one after another, catching the light, releasing it, catching again. There is no drawing on these pages to animate, but the flip itself has a quality of motion, a suggestion of what happens when many small changes are viewed in rapid succession. The sound is gentle, a soft flutter, like a bird's wing heard from a great distance. Early animators learned to check their work by flipping. They would hold their stack of drawings and let the pages fall through their fingers, watching the motion emerge, noticing where it stuttered or jumped, where it flowed smoothly, where something was not quite right. This checking was constant. Draw a few frames, flip, observe, draw a few more, flip again. The rhythm of work and verification became second nature, a pulse that ran through every session at the desk. The pages settle back into the stack. The hand aligns the corners, tapping the bottom edge against the desk, then the side, then the bottom again, the soft sound of paper edges meeting wood. The stack is neat once more, its geometry restored. The hand rests. The cup of water is lifted now, brought to the lips, a small sip. Cool, clean, nothing more. The water slides down the throat, and the cup is returned to its place on the desk. A tiny ripple moves across the surface of the remaining water, then stills. The cup sits where it sat before, holding its silence, its patience, its faint condensation. Some early studios developed simple camera stands to photograph their drawings, creating the final films that audiences would eventually see. The camera would point downward at a flat surface, and the drawings would be placed beneath it, one at a time, each photographed in sequence. This process was slow and required great care. Each drawing had to be positioned exactly, or the motion would appear to jump and jitter. But when it worked, when the alignment was true and the timing was right, the photographed sequence would play back as smooth, continuous movement. The lamp continues its warm glow. If you hold your hand near its surface, you can feel the gentle heat radiating outward, a soft presence that warms without burning. The hand hovers there for a moment, absorbing the warmth, then withdraws. The heat fades slowly from the palm, leaving only a memory of comfort. Let your exhale lengthen now. If it wants to, the breath moves in at its own pace, and then it moves out slowly, completely, like water draining from a shallow basin. There is no need to force the exhale. Simply allow it to continue a little longer than usual, to empty a little more fully. The body knows how to do this. The lungs know how to release. The chest settles, the belly softens further, and the breath finds its own slow rhythm. The surfaces that held the drawings evolved over time. Thin sheets of clear material allowed backgrounds to remain visible while characters moved in front of them. These transparent sheets could be stacked, layered, each one holding a different element of the scene. The artists would paint on these surfaces, careful and precise, and then the layers would be assembled, one atop another, creating depth and complexity from simple, flat components. The pencil is rolled again, just slightly, a tiny movement, perhaps caused by nothing more than the vibration of the building settling, or a shift in the air from the ventilation. The pencil turns a few degrees and stops, its point now facing the cup of water instead of the paper stack. This small change goes unnoticed, or perhaps it is noticed, but not corrected. Either way, the pencil rests in its new orientation. Content. The hand wipes the desk surface with a soft cloth, a gentle motion, clearing away any dust or eraser crumbs that might have gathered. The wood grain appears beneath the cloth's path, smooth and warm, slightly worn from years of use. The cloth is set aside, and the hand returns to its resting place, and the desk gleams softly in the lamplight. Timing sheets helped artists keep track of which drawings fell on which frames, ensuring that the motion would play back at the intended speed. These charts were simple, rows and columns, numbers and notes, but they represented the backbone of the work, the structure that held everything together. Without proper timing, even the most beautiful drawings would appear rushed or sluggish. With proper timing, even simple drawings could feel alive. The lightbox hums beneath the paper, a sound so soft it is almost inaudible, almost imagined. This hum has been constant all night, a tiny electrical song that asks nothing and offers only its gentle illumination. The paper above the lightbox glows faintly, translucent at the edges, ready for whatever marks might be placed upon it. Your torso has softened now. The chest, the belly, the back, all of them have released some portion of the tension they carried. The breath moves more freely through this open space, filling it, then emptying it, then filling it again. There is a pleasant heaviness settling through the middle of your body, a sense of weight that is not fatigue but surrender. The body is learning how to rest, remembering what it knew before the day began. The stack of paper sits undisturbed. The pencil rests in its new position. The cup of water holds its stillness, and the lamp continues its patient glow. Outside, the night deepens in its slow, unhurried way. The hours pass without counting themselves, without announcing their passage. And here, in this small pool of amber light, the desk waits, and the tools wait, and the silence holds everything gently in its open hands. There is nothing more to do right now. Nothing more to check or flip or sharpen or align. Only this moment, only this breath, only this quiet room where the craft of making things move has found its rest. Seasons of quiet work. The desk remains as it was. The lamp casts its warm amber light across the stack of animation paper, and the lightbox beneath holds its soft, steady glow. The pencil rests in its place, and the cup of water, refilled now at some quiet moment, stands clear and still beside it. You are still here, in this room that has held you through the slow turning of the night. The ventilation hum continues its distant song, and the moonlight through the high window has traveled further across the desk, a silver ribbon now touching the base of the lamp. Everything is unhurried. Everything continues. A hand reaches out and touches the surface of the paper stack, feeling the slight coolness of the topmost sheet. The paper has been sitting here through the night hours, and it has taken on the temperature of the room. Not quite warm, not quite cool, simply present. The fingers rest there for a moment, feeling the smooth grain, then lift away. The paper waits, as paper always waits. Time passed. In those early years of animation work, seasons changed outside studio windows. Leaves fell and grew again. Snow drifted and melted, Summers warmed the air and gave way to autumn coolness. Inside the studios, the work continued in its steady rhythm. Drawings accumulated, skills deepened. What once required great effort gradually became easier, more natural, more like breathing. The pencil is lifted and turned slowly in the fingers. Examined without purpose, the yellow paint has worn a little more, perhaps, though the change is too subtle to see. The pencil is set back down, and it rolls slightly before finding its rest. The sound of wood against wood is barely audible, a small click that fades immediately into the room's stillness. Let your hips release now, if you can. The hip joints hold so much tension from sitting, from standing, from all the ways the body positions itself through the day. Let them soften. Feel how the weight of the legs can settle more fully, how the muscles around the hips can unknot and ease. There is a warmth that can gather in this area when tension releases. A spreading comfort that moves down into the thighs and up into the lower back. Simply notice it, or let it happen unnoticed. Either way, the body continues its slow unwinding. The studios grew gradually in the way that all careful endeavors grow. More desks appeared in the rooms. More artists sat at those desks, pencils in hand, paper stacked before them. The work that had once been done by a handful of people came to be done by many, each person contributing their portion, each drawing becoming part of a larger whole. This growth was not sudden or dramatic. It was incremental, almost invisible. One more desk, then another, then another, over the course of months and years. The cup of water catches the lamplight, a small amber gleam on its surface. Inside, the water is perfectly still, a tiny mirror reflecting nothing but the quiet room. A hand reaches for it, lifts it, brings it to the lips. A small sip, cool and clean. The cup is returned to its place, and a single ripple moves across the surface, then fades. The stillness returns. The techniques of animation refine themselves slowly. Through trial and observation, artists learned that certain ways of drawing motion looked more natural than others. A character that moved too smoothly appeared mechanical, lifeless. A character with slight variations in timing, a held pose here, a quick motion there, felt more real, more present. These discoveries were not announced or celebrated. They were simply absorbed into the work, becoming part of the craft's accumulated wisdom. The light box glows beneath the paper. Its light is so steady, so consistent, that it hardly registers as light at all. It is simply there, illuminating from below, making the paper translucent, making the layering of drawings possible. The hum of its electrical life is so soft as to be nearly silent, nearly imagined. Feel your back against whatever surface supports you. The muscles along the spine can soften further, can release their holding. The lower back, especially, carries so much weight through the day. The weight of the body, the weight of posture The weight of staying upright in a world that asks for uprightness. Let it ease now. Let the spine curve naturally, finding its own comfortable shape. The support beneath you will hold what needs to be held. You do not need to hold yourself. Some projects grew more ambitious over time. Stories that might have been told simply were told with more detail, more care, more attention to the small moments that make characters feel alive. Backgrounds grew more elaborate, movements grew more nuanced, but this expansion was gradual, patient, not a leap, but a slow accumulation, like sediment building at the bottom of a still lake. The hand wipes the desk surface again with the soft cloth, clearing nothing visible, but finding satisfaction in the gesture. The wood grain appears beneath the cloth's path, warm and slightly worn. The cloth is folded and set aside, and the hand returns to its resting place. The desk gleams softly in the lamplight, ready for whatever comes next, or for nothing at all. New tools emerged over the years, as they always do in any craft. Different kinds of pencils, different weights of paper, different methods for transferring drawings to film. Each new tool required adjustment, learning, a period of fumbling before it became familiar. But the essence of the work remained unchanged. A person at a desk, pencil in hand, creating the illusion of movement one drawing at a time. The ventilation hum shifts, almost imperceptibly, finding a slightly lower register. It holds this new note for several breaths, then drifts back to its familiar tone. The building breathes around you, through you, with you. These are the sounds of a space at rest, a space that has known many nights like this one and will know many more. Your belly rises and falls with each breath. The motion is so familiar, so constant, that it rarely receives attention. But if you notice it now, the gentle expansion as the breath moves in, the soft settling as the breath moves out, you can feel how natural it is, how effortless. The belly does not struggle to breathe. The belly simply breathes, has always breathed, will continue breathing long after you stop paying attention. Some stories found wide audiences, were seen by many people in many places. Others were smaller, quieter, appreciated by fewer. Both kinds were made with the same care, the same patient attention to the craft. The drawings accumulated, frame by frame, second by second, until something that had not existed before came into being. This was the work, always the same work, regardless of what happened afterward. The pencil point has dulled slightly from the few marks made earlier. The hand reaches for the sharpener, inserts the pencil, turns it slowly. 3 rotations, 4, 5. The sound is soft, rhythmic, the whisper of wood being shaped, of graphite being refined. A small curl of shaving falls into the dish, pale yellow with a dark center. The pencil is withdrawn, examined, returned to its place. The point is sharp again. ready for marks that may or may not be made. The moonlight through the high window has shifted again. The night is deepening in its slow, unhurried way, the hours passing without announcement, without urgency. The silver thread of moonlight now touches the edge of the paper stack, adding its cool glow to the lamp's warmth. The two lights continue their peaceful coexistence, neither competing nor merging, simply sharing the space. Let your breath slow now. If it wants to, there is no need to control it. But if it naturally lengthens, if the pauses between inhale and exhale grow slightly longer, let them. The body knows how to find its resting rhythm. The body knows how to prepare for sleep, how to lower the pulse, how to quiet the systems that have been running all day. Simply allow this to happen, or notice it happening, or let it happen unnoticed. Always lead to the same gentle stillness. The work continued across seasons and years. Artists retired, and new artists took their places at the desks. Techniques evolved and were passed along. Hand to hand, generation to generation, light boxes glowed in the evenings, and the pencils made their marks, and the pages flipped and fluttered and accumulated into motion. This continuity was not discussed or documented. It simply was the ongoing life of a craft that had found its form and continued to refine it. Slowly, patiently, without fanfare. The cup of water has grown slightly warmer, absorbing the ambient temperature of the room. The condensation on its surface has mostly evaporated now, leaving only the faintest film of moisture. The water inside remains still, undisturbed, a small pool of quiet in the larger quiet of the room. Some turning points in the craft were technological, new ways of capturing drawings, new methods for adding color, new approaches to creating depth and dimension. Others were artistic, discoveries about timing, about expression, about the subtle ways that drawing could suggest emotion and personality. All of these changes arrived gradually, were absorbed gradually, became part of the accumulated wisdom that each artist carried in their hands. The lamp continues its warm glow. If you could feel its warmth from where you are, it would be gentle, undemanding, the kind of warmth that comforts without overwhelming, that suggests presence without insisting on attention. The lamp has been on all night, will remain on through the remaining hours, a steady companion in the quiet room. Your hips have softened, your back has eased, your belly rises and falls with each slow breath. The tension that the body carried into this night has released some portion of itself, perhaps more than you realize. The muscles have remembered what they knew before the day began: how to let go, how to rest, how to surrender weight to the surfaces that hold them. The stack of paper sits undisturbed, its corners aligned, its geometry precise. The pencil rests in its place, newly sharpened, patient. The cup of water holds its stillness. and the light box glows beneath everything, offering its soft illumination to anyone who might need it, asking nothing in return. The night continues outside these walls. The world turns slowly toward morning, though morning is still far away. And here, in this small room, the desk waits, and the tools wait, and the silence holds everything in its vast and gentle embrace. There is nothing more to strive for right now, nothing more to grow or achieve or refine. Only this moment, only this breath, only this quiet room where the craft has found its rest, and the night has found its depth, and the body has found its ease. Revision and kindness. The room is still here, unchanged and unhurried. The lamp continues its amber glow across the drawing desk, and the light box beneath the paper holds its patient light. The pencil rests where it was placed, and the cup of water, clear and calm, catches the soft reflection of the lamp's warmth. You remain in this quiet space, held by the gentle constancy of the room. The ventilation hum continues its distant murmur, so familiar now that it has become part of the silence. The moonlight through the high window has traveled further, a silver thread now resting across the far edge of the desk. The night deepens, and everything continues. A hand reaches forward and straightens the stack of paper, though it hardly needs straightening. The fingers tap the edges against the desk, bottom, then side, then bottom again, and the soft sound of paper meeting wood fills the small silence. The stack is aligned, precise, ready for nothing in particular. The hand withdraws, and the paper waits. The craft of animation has always been a craft of revision. The first attempt at anything is rarely the final form. Drawings are made, then looked at, then reconsidered. A line that seemed right in the moment reveals itself, upon reflection, to be slightly off, the angle not quite natural, the curve not quite smooth. And so the drawing is made again, or adjusted, or set aside while a fresh approach is considered. The pencil is lifted and turned slowly in the fingers. The graphite point catches the lamplight, a small gleam of potential. The pencil is set back down without being used, and it rolls a quarter turn before settling. The desk holds it gently. The room holds everything gently. Let your attention drift down to your legs now. If you like, the thighs have been holding their own quiet tension, the tension of sitting, of walking, of all the ways the legs carry the body through the day. Let them soften. Feel how the weight of the legs can settle more fully, can press gently against whatever surface supports them. There is a heaviness that comes when the legs truly rest, a pleasant sinking that moves through the muscles like warmth spreading through cool water. Revision was never treated as failure in the best studios. It was simply part of the process, as natural as breathing, as expected as the turning of pages, An artist might draw the same movement a dozen times before finding the version that felt right. Each attempt taught something. What worked? What didn't? What might be tried differently? The discarded drawings were not wasted. They were the necessary steps toward the drawing that would remain. The air in the room carries a faint scent now, the mineral smell of graphite, the clean paper smell of the stack, and beneath them, something warmer. The lamp has been on for hours, and its gentle heat has released a barely perceptible note from the dust on its surface. A scent like old books or warm afternoons in quiet libraries. It is not strong enough to demand attention. It simply exists, part of the room's atmosphere, part of the night's texture. The cup of water is lifted, brought to the lips. A small sip, cool and clean. The taste of nothing. The refreshment of simplicity. The cup is returned to its place, and a tiny ripple moves across the surface, then stills. The water settles into its patient waiting, reflecting the lamp's glow in miniature. Long focus was required for this work, not the intense, burning focus of urgency, but something gentler and more sustained. The artists who sat at these desks learned how to attend to their work for hours at a time, how to notice small details without straining, how to maintain a steady hand through repetitive tasks. This focus was not exhausting. It was meditative, almost restful. The mind would settle into the work, and the hours would pass without weight. Feel your calves now, the muscles that run along the backs of the lower legs. They have worked hard today, perhaps walking, climbing, balancing, adjusting. Let them soften. Let the tension drain from them like water from a tilted cup. There is a warmth that can gather in the calves when they release, a pleasant loosening that moves down toward the ankles and up toward the knees. Simply notice it, or let it happen unnoticed. The body knows how to let go. The light box glows steadily beneath the paper. Its light has been constant all night, never flickering, never dimming, never drawing attention to itself. This constancy is a gift, a reliable illumination that allows the work to continue without interruption, that lets the artist focus on the drawings rather than the tools. The light box asks nothing. It simply offers its light, patient and unwavering. Learning from imperfect drafts was part of every artist's education. The drawings that didn't work were studied as carefully as the drawings that did. What made this line feel stiff? What made that movement seem unnatural? The questions were asked not with frustration, but with curiosity, with the quiet patience of someone who knows that understanding takes time. And slowly, through this gentle investigation, skill accumulated. The hand wipes the desk surface with the soft cloth, a gesture of care more than necessity. The wood grain appears beneath the cloth's path, warm and familiar, slightly worn at the edges where hands have rested over years and years. The cloth is folded and set aside, and the desk gleams softly in the lamplight, ready for whatever the night might bring, or for nothing at all. Your feet can soften now. The soles of the feet, the arches, the toes, all of them can release their holding. Feet carry so much weight through the day, absorb so many impacts, adjust to so many surfaces. Let them rest now. Feel how the toes can uncurl, just slightly. Feel how the arches can ease, no longer bracing, no longer supporting. The feet can simply exist, warm and heavy, sinking into rest. Kindness was woven through the work in ways that were not always visible. The senior artist who took time to explain a technique to a newer colleague, the quiet encouragement offered when a drawing wasn't working, the patience shown toward those who were still learning, still finding their way. These acts of kindness were not recorded or celebrated. They were simply part of the culture, the atmosphere, the way things were done in rooms like this one. The pencil has not been used for some time now. It rests beside the paper stack, its point still sharp, its yellow surface catching a lamplight. There is no urgency to use it. There is no task that demands completion. The pencil can simply rest, as everything in this room can rest, patient and available and asking nothing. The ventilation hum shifts again, finding a slightly different note, holding it for several breaths, then drifting back. These small variations have become familiar, the building's way of breathing, of adjusting, of moving through the night in its own unhurried rhythm. The sound is not distracting. It is comforting in its way, evidence that the space is alive, that systems are working, that the quiet is not empty but full of gentle presence. Careful observation was the foundation of the craft. The artists learned to watch how things moved, how a leaf fell from a tree, how a person shifted their weight, how an animal turned its head. These observations were gathered slowly, over years, stored in the memory of the hands and the eyes. And when the time came to draw, the observations flowed out through the pencil, becoming lines on paper, becoming the illusion of life. The moonlight has shifted further. The silver thread now falls across the cup of water, adding its cool glow to the lamp's warmth. The cup holds both lights without preference, reflecting each in turn, a small meeting place for silver and amber. Let heaviness settle through your legs now, from the hips down through the thighs, through the knees, through the calves, through the ankles, all the way to the tips of the toes. This heaviness is not fatigue. It is the weight of true rest, the body's way of preparing for sleep. muscles finally releasing their grip on the day. The legs grow warm and heavy, sinking into whatever supports them, surrendering their effort, finding their ease. The work required quiet persistence, not the dramatic push toward a single goal, but the steady accumulation of small efforts over long periods. A drawing made today would join the drawings made yesterday, and the drawings that would be made tomorrow. Together, they would become something larger than any single frame. But the artist did not need to think about the larger picture while working. The artist only needed to focus on this drawing, this line, this moment. The stack of paper sits undisturbed. The lamp glows. The light box hums its barely audible song. The pencil rests, and the cup of water holds its stillness, and the room continues its quiet breathing around you, with you for you. There is a value in patience that cannot be taught, only discovered. The artists who worked at desks like this one found it through practice, through repetition, through the slow accumulation of hours spent in gentle focus. They learned that rushing produced nothing of worth, that the best work came when the mind was settled and the hand was steady and the breath was calm. Your legs have softened now. From hip to toe, the weight of them presses gently against whatever surface holds them, and the warmth that has gathered there continues to spread, continues to deepen. The body is learning how to rest, remembering what it knew before the day began, returning to a state it has always known. The night continues outside these walls. The world turns slowly, and the stars wheel overhead. And somewhere the moon casts its silver light across landscapes you cannot see. But here, in this room, there is only the desk, only the lamp, only the patient tools, and the quiet air, and the gentle hum of a space at rest. And in this rest, there is something like wisdom, the accumulated understanding of many hands, many hours, many careful revisions, the quiet knowledge that good work takes time, that patience is its own reward, that kindness woven through the effort makes the effort worthwhile. The paper waits, the pencil rests, and the stillness holds everything in its vast and gentle embrace, asking nothing, offering everything. Familiar stillness. The room holds its stillness as it has held it all through the night. The lamp continues its amber glow across the drawing desk, and the light box beneath the paper waits with its soft, patient light. The pencil rests in its place, and the cup of water, still and clear, catches the gentlest reflection of the warmth around it. You are still here. The ventilation hum has become so familiar now that it is simply part of the quiet, part of the texture of the room. The moonlight through the high window has traveled its slow arc, and everything continues as it has continued, unhurried and unchanged. A hand reaches out and touches the stack of paper, feeling its weight, its coolness. The slight give of the sheets beneath gentle pressure, the fingers rest there for a moment, then lift away. The paper waits. It has been waiting all night. It will wait a little longer still. Animation has become a quiet presence in many lives, not something thought about constantly, not something that demands attention, simply there, a familiar shape in the background of ordinary evenings, a gentle companion to moments of rest. People watch without analyzing, enjoy without dissecting. Let the moving images wash over them like warm water, like soft music, like the sound of rain on a window. The pencil is lifted, held loosely, set back down. It rolls a few degrees and stops. The sound of wood against wood is barely audible. A small click that fades immediately. The desk holds the pencil. The room holds the desk. The night holds everything. Let your thoughts loosen now. If they want to, they do not need to hold their shape so carefully. They can drift, can blur at the edges, can float like clouds in a sky that asks nothing of them. If a thought arrives, let it arrive. If it departs, let it go. The thoughts are not you. They are simply visitors, passing through, finding their way to wherever thoughts go when they are no longer being held. In homes and apartments, in quiet rooms and shared spaces, people have settled into their own evening routines. Some watch screens that glow with gentle colors. Some simply rest in the companionship of familiar stories, familiar characters, familiar worlds. The animation that plays is not examined or critiqued. It is simply present, like the hum of a refrigerator, like the warmth of a blanket, like the weight of a cat curled in a lap. Animation studios still exist, in buildings, not so different from this one. Desks with lamps, stacks of paper, pencils waiting to be lifted. Work continues, somewhere, in the way that work always continues, steady and patient and unhurried. But tonight, in this room, there is no work. There is only the desk, only the tools, only the gentle presence of a craft that has found its rest. The pencil rests. It has not been used for some time. The point remains sharp, the yellow paint slightly worn, the graphite waiting inside its wooden case. The pencil could make marks, could draw lines, could begin something new, but it does not need to. It can simply rest, as you can simply rest, as the night can simply rest before the slow arrival of morning. Your legs are heavy now, from hip to toe. The warmth that gathered there has spread and deepened. A pleasant weight that presses you gently into rest. The muscles have released their holding. The joints have softened. The legs are simply legs now, warm and present and asking nothing. The familiarity of animation is a kind of comfort. The styles that are recognized without analysis. The movements that feel natural without being understood. The way certain images evoke feelings that need no explanation. that simply arrive like the scent of something cooking in a distant kitchen, like the sound of a voice heard through a wall. This familiarity asks nothing. It simply offers its quiet presence, its gentle companionship. The hand reaches out and adjusts the pencil, moving it slightly to the left, then back to the right. The movement is small, almost absent. The gesture of a hand that simply needs something to do. The pencil ends up nearly where it began. The hand withdraws. The room continues. Breath slows now, finding its own rhythm. The inhale comes and goes. The exhale lengthens, softens, trails away into the quiet. There is no need to count the breaths, no need to measure them. The body knows what it needs. The body has always known. Simply allow it to breathe itself, to find its way toward rest, to do what it has done since the very first moment of life. In the quiet hours, animation is simply there, playing on screens in empty rooms, flickering in the backgrounds of late-night moments, accompanying sleep or rest, or the gentle drifting that happens when the day has ended and the mind has nothing left to hold. It does not demand attention. It does not require engagement. It simply continues, patient and familiar, like an old friend who knows when to speak and when to remain silent. You are still here. You have been here through all the slow hours of the night, through the gentle turning of time, through the deepening of stillness into deeper stillness. The ventilation hum continues, so familiar now that it has become a kind of silence. Moonlight through the high window has traveled far, its silver thread now resting at the very edge of the desk, almost gone. A hand reaches forward, slowly, and touches the stack of animation paper. The fingers feel the weight of the sheets, the coolness of the topmost page, the slight texture that is so familiar now. The hand rests there for a moment. Then it lifts away. The paper waits. It has been waiting all along. Simple drawings made by patient hands, lines on paper, shapes that suggested movement, the gentle accumulation of small marks, becoming something larger than themselves. This has been the work. Always this quiet effort, repeated and refined, offered and shared. It asks nothing of you now. It simply rests as everything rests in the deep and peaceful night. Let your face soften now. Let the forehead smooth. Let the muscles around the eyes release their last holding. The jaw can hang easy, the teeth slightly parted, the tongue resting low and heavy. The face does not need to express anything right now. It does not need to hold any shape. It can simply be a face at rest, warm and still and present. The pencil has not been lifted for some time. It rests beside the paper, its point still sharp, its yellow surface catching the lamplight. Pencils have rested on desks like this one for longer than anyone can remember. They have waited, patient and ready, through countless nights like this one. They will wait through countless more. The waiting is not difficult. The waiting is simply what pencils do. Your shoulders have lowered, perhaps without your noticing. They have released the last of the tension they carried. The weight of the day finally set down. Feel how they can soften even further, dropping another fraction, releasing another layer. There is a warmth that spreads across the upper back when the shoulders truly rest. A pleasant heaviness that asks nothing and offers everything. The cup of water is lifted one last time. A final sip, room temperature now. Neither cool nor warm, simply present. The cup is returned to its place, and the tiny amount of water remaining settles into perfect stillness. The cup will sit here through the night, through whatever hours remain, patient and quiet and content. Steady craft, practiced over many years. Hands learning what hands can learn. Eyes noticing what eyes can notice. The slow building of skill, invisible and patient, like roots growing beneath the surface of the earth. None of this needs to be understood right now. None of it needs to be held in the mind. It can simply exist, like the hum of the ventilation, like the warmth of the lamp, like the weight of the night pressing gently against the windows. Let your chest rise and fall now, slow and easy. The breath moves in, and the ribs expand, and there is space there, warmth there, life continuing without effort. The breath moves out, and the chest settles, and the space remains, held and soft and present. This rhythm has carried you through every moment of your life. It will carry you through this one too. Simply let it continue. Simply let it breathe you. The light box glows beneath the paper. Its soft light has been constant all night, unwavering and patient. Now, the hand reaches forward and finds the small switch at its base. A gentle click, and the glow fades. The paper above goes dark. Ordinary, no longer translucent, just paper now. Just a stack of white rectangles in the amber light of the desk lamp. The light box hums once more, softly, and then falls silent. Your belly rises and falls with each slow breath. The muscles there have softened, have released their holding, have remembered how to rest. There is a warmth in the center of the body now, a gathering of ease that spreads outward with each exhale. The belly does not need to do anything. It can simply breathe. It can simply be. The room has grown quieter with the light box off. The hum that was part of its life has faded, leaving only the distant ventilation, the vast stillness of the building, the deep peace of the night. The change is small, almost imperceptible, but the silence has deepened. The quiet has grown more complete. A hand aligns the paper stack one final time. The corners are tapped against the desk, bottom, then side, then bottom again. The soft sound of paper meeting wood, familiar now, soothing in its repetition. This stack is neat, The stack has always been neat, but the gesture is comforting, a small ritual of completion, a way of saying that the night's work, whatever it was, is finished now. Let your hips release. The joints there, the muscles around them, the places where the body bends and holds itself upright, let them soften. Feel the weight of the lower body settling more fully, pressing gently into whatever surface supports it. There is a heaviness there that is not fatigue, but rest. The hips can simply exist now, warm and present, asking nothing. The pencil is moved, just slightly, to rest parallel to the edge of the paper stack. A small adjustment, a final ordering. The pencil lies still, its point facing the far edge of the desk, its surface catching the last of the lamplight. It will rest here through the remaining hours, patient and ready, waiting for a morning that is not yet close. Thoughts may drift now, loosening their edges, blurring into softer shapes, a flicker of something, a memory, a sensation, a half-formed idea, and then it passes, trailing away into the quiet. There is nothing to hold on to. There is nothing that needs to be remembered. The thoughts can come and go like clouds, like breath, like the slow movement of moonlight across a desk. Your legs are heavy, from hip to toe. The thighs, the knees, the calves, the ankles, all of them have released, have softened, have surrendered their weight to the surfaces beneath them. There is a warmth there, spreading and deepening, a pleasant sense of sinking. The legs do not need to carry anything right now. They can simply rest. The lamp is dimmed now, turned to its lowest setting. The amber glow fades to something softer, something closer to candlelight. The desk is still visible, the paper stack, the pencil, the cup of water, but they have grown gentler, less distinct. The edges have softened. The shadows have deepened. The room is preparing for rest. Your feet can release their last holding. The soles, the arches, the toes, let them soften completely. Feel how the feet can grow heavy and warm, sinking into rest. They have carried you through the day, through all the walking and standing and adjusting. Now they can simply be feet at rest, warm and present, asking nothing of the night. The ventilation hum continues, distant and steady. It is the last sound in the room, the final companion in the deep quiet of the night. It does not ask for attention. It does not disturb the peace. It simply continues, as it has continued all along, a gentle presence in the vast stillness. The craft of making things move has found its rest. The drawings that were made, the lines that were drawn, the patient accumulation of small marks, all of it rests now. In studios and archives and memories, the work continues somewhere, perhaps, but not here. Here there is only stillness, only the desk, only the gentle breathing of a room that has held you through the night. Your whole body is heavy now, from the top of the head to the tips of the toes. A pleasant weight has settled through you. The face is soft. The shoulders are low. The chest rises and falls without effort. The belly is warm and loose. The hips have released. The legs are heavy. The feet are still. The whole body rests, supported and safe, held by the surfaces beneath and the quiet around. A lamp glows softly, barely more than a suggestion of light. The amber warmth has faded to something dimmer, something closer to the edge of sleep. The desk is still there. The paper, the pencil, the cup of water, but they are shapes now, outlines in the gentle dark, no longer demanding attention, no longer requiring focus. They simply rest. As you rest in the deep and peaceful night, breath slows. The inhale comes, soft and unhurried. The exhale goes trailing away into stillness. The pause between them lengthens, grows comfortable, grows easy. There is nothing to count, nothing to measure, nothing to control. The breath simply continues, finding its own rhythm, flowing toward rest, flowing toward sleep. The room holds its stillness. The building holds its silence. The night holds everything in its vast and gentle embrace. And somewhere, in the space between one breath and the next, there is a kind of peace that has always been here, waiting, patient, ready to welcome you whenever you are ready to arrive. The paper waits. It will wait through the night. The pencil rests. It will rest through the remaining hours. The cup of water holds its stillness, and the lamp glows its softest glow, and the ventilation hum continues its steady song. Nothing more needs to happen now. Nothing more needs to be done. The night is deep and the room is quiet, and the craft of making things move has found its rest. And you have found your rest, here in this gentle place, held by stillness, cradled by quiet, drifting slowly toward the soft and peaceful dark. The lamp dims further, almost to darkness now. The amber glow becomes a memory, a suggestion, a warmth felt more than seen. The room settles into its deepest quiet, and the breath continues, slow and easy, and the body rests, heavy and warm, and the mind drifts, loose and soft, and everything fades gently, gently into the still and patient night. Rest now. The room holds you. The night holds you. The quiet holds everything. And nothing more needs to be said. Good night.